Welcome to another episode of the No Wires podcast, home to all things Africa Fast, and I'm your host, 10V Jack, aka Mr. It Is What It Is. Now let's get to it. Unity is strength, that is true. Too many cooks spoil the broth is also true. Today we're going to talk about Pan-Africanism, and we're not going to do a deep dive, no academic nonsense, no deep dive into its history, just a simple discussion. So, I was inspired to talk about this because of the current political climate in the world, that is. You have China trying to be the new world power, you have US trying to hold its ground as the current world power, you have Russia threatening Ukraine, which is in turn threatening Europe. You have the Middle East crisis. And then you have Africa. While all this is happening, what's Africa doing really? The second most populated continent has little to no say in world politics, and I would like facts to the contrary. The country with the most arable land, with the most mineral wealth. Come on. When it comes to these discussions, once or twice you might have somebody suggest, oh, our problems, it's because we're so divided. If only we came together, then what? You know, if we merged our economies, then maybe what exactly? Look, by now you might have a small clue about where I'm going with this video. So I'll be brief. Or not. So let's get some definitions straight first of all. Pan-Africanism is the idea that people of African descent have common interests and thus should be unified because unity in strength. The idea of Pan-Africanism came during the late 19th century, during the heydays of racism, colonialism and oppression of the black man. Black people should come together in a make Africa great kind of thing. Do your own research on some of its movers and shakers, but for now, let's talk about what's on offer if we came together. From poverty, wars and struggles, we can lift ourselves if only we came together. And they lived happily ever after, the end. Okay, wait. Okay, let's get serious. We could end up with a strong and large joint military force, which would make us like amongst the most formidable military powers on the globe. That's 54 states, so that's very much possible. Also, a coming together would also help make us an economic juggernaut on the world stage. Think about it. The continent with the most mineral wealth comes together, gets its own single currency. We'd have more jobs and hunger would be a thing of the past. I am sure of it. Another advantage would be the world would take Africa more seriously, because let's be honest, for now, they are not. Whoever gives us loans and some sort of aid packages, that's who we get our opinions from. Whatever the current superpower says, we do. Lastly, the merging of economies would make us a lucrative market for investment by foreign businesses. We'd be the largest single market, larger than China. But why this is not possible? I'm glad you asked. A wise man once said nothing at all. But sometimes saying nothing is a coward's route. Africa unity sounds like a beautiful thing, and it is. Africa must come together, which is a statement that's been echoed by African leaders, both past and present. But here are a few reasons why I think the whole idea falls apart completely. The first one is obvious. Africa is very diverse. Africa is extremely diverse, actually. Think about it. Nigeria has over 200 ethnic groups. Kenya has over 40 ethnic groups. As a continent, we have over 2,500 ethnic groups combined. Most of them have sub-tribes, and that's just one difference. Different religious practices, different main languages like French in most of Western Africa and English in most of its Commonwealth nations. Different national values, different political philosophies, like some countries have juntas, some have dictators, and some have democratic systems. I mean, it'll be a barrier at some point. Another reason is obvious is lack of dependence. Young children don't make decisions, their parents do. Africa, even with all that arable land, imports most of its food, gets a lot of aid packages, and is burdened with debt. Africa is an economic slave. Simple. We're too dependent on the West and the East, and as usual, you can't bite the hand that feeds you. So what kind of independence do you think you will have simply by coming together? Our masters could put an end to it. Simple. Another reason, bureaucracy. I mean, think about it. These are 54 nations. If it's already hard for one parliament from one African nation to get things done, what about 54 different African nations trying to come to a unanimous agreement? I am sure, and I promise you, very little will get done. Corruption and ignorance. Another reason. Africans don't trust their leaders to get things done. That is a fact I came across in a DW documentary. It's in the description. Democracy is a fine word, but in these parts, the needs of the few outweigh those of the many. And that's why we are where we are. People don't know what they need. People don't know their role in a democracy, and yet we still trust ourselves to elect good leaders. He or she makes a lot of promises, you elect them, they get away with it, and then you reward them with a re-election. Misplaced allegiances based on tribe or religion. Ye ni mwizi, but ni mwizi wetu. You have that like 54 times over, and you think we'll make it? Really? Lastly, my cynicism comes from looking at already existing organizations like the African Union, which is the closest to a Pan-Africanist government we have, as well as the EAC, the East African Community. They are working, but are they functioning really? The AU gets over 60% of its financial budget from donors like the European Union. Just more aid. And the EAC is just out to get bigger and bloated, and I don't know why. It is already problematic for 3 countries to come together. What makes you think that 13 countries could? Really? Is it 13 countries now? I have no idea, but whatever, man. In conclusion, Pan-Africanism is not a bad idea on its own, just an ill-timed one. For now. And even if it were to happen tomorrow, we were to rush it and we finally had one single government, one single currency, one single flag, it is sure to get less done than our current governments as they are now, which in all honesty will be impressive. Anyway, that's all we had time for. What do you think about Pan-Africanism? Do you ever think about it at all? Comment, like, share and subscribe. I'm 10V Jack, and as always, stay honest. Hizi ma substance ni kama kaluma. Nina substance disorder